Hey everyone, today I want to show you how I made this fun and colorful website for a mushroom farm. I'm going to share with you a brief overview of my full design process, including the branding, planning out the website, and then building the website in Squarespace. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jen. I am a freelance web designer and artist. I love seeing other people's design process, so I make videos like this one to show you a little sneak peek into my design process. While I still have you here, I would love for you to help a fellow human out and give this video a like. And without further ado, let's get right into it. The first step in this project and in most of my web design projects that I work on is to figure out the branding. And the branding is much more than just a logo. It's the overall vibe of your business, the overall visual look, the colors, the fonts, the graphics, the illustrations, how everything kind of ties together and makes customers feel a certain way when they interact with your business. And this is a step that I think a lot of people who are kind of DIYing their own website, who are kind of making their own website, tend to skip. If you are making your own website for your business, I'd recommend taking some time to zoom out and think about how you want your customers to feel when they interact with your brand or your business. Do you want to give off a sophisticated, like professional, refined look, or do you want to feel friendly and approachable and playful? In this case, the client already had a logo that was designed for them by somebody else, but they didn't have like the rest of the branding. In our initial meeting, we talked about his business and I had a questionnaire for him to fill out to help me get a sense of what the personality of the brand should be. They wanted to connect the roots of the name of the company, which is Fey Forest Fungi, Fey being like the fairies from Celtic folklore. And so we wanted the brand to feel kind of playful and whimsical, colorful and fun. And we wanted to evoke friendliness and approachability. So think chatting with people at a farmer's market, which is where they sell a lot of their products. So thinking about all of this, I had a few ideas for the visuals. I wanted to use colors from their mushrooms that they grow because some of their mushrooms are very colorful. I didn't realize like how vibrant some mushrooms are. And I also wanted to use kind of like wavy organic shapes since foresty, earthy kind of feels more organic and random as opposed to, you know, structured and polished straight lines. When looking for fonts, I was thinking of something that had like a homegrown kind of farmer's market vibe. And I also wanted to add imagery to the website, like graphics. So I went to Creative Market, which is a website where artists sell all kinds of creative assets that you can use in your branding, like fonts and icons and drawings and all kinds of stuff. And I found this illustrative hand-drawn set of mushrooms, this giant collection of mushroom illustrations, which I thought was perfect for the brand. Like it really fit that kind of like whimsical, hand-drawn kind of vibe. So I started putting all these different pieces together and playing around with it until I had a few different concepts to bring to the client. And that's how we landed on the branding, like the overall vibe of what the website would look like. So now the next step for me when I'm working on a website is to do the wireframes, which is just planning out what information we're gonna put on the website and in what order it's gonna show up. So it's a very high level rough draft. And at this step, I recommend thinking about the kind of information you wanna have on your website and just making like a messy list, just kind of brainstorming ideas that you have. And from that list, you can then think about how it would make sense to organize that information into separate web pages. In this case, the client wanted to sell products. They wanted to be able to share a little more about their business and their backstory. They also wanted to share the benefits of mushrooms and educate people on the different kinds of mushrooms and how to use them. And they also wanted to start a newsletter. So knowing all of that and based on a questionnaire that I also had them fill out to give me more information about their business, I built out the wireframes. You can see that they're just in black and white. There's no detail. Like I said, it's just a rough draft. You can kind of start thinking generally about how you want the information to be laid out on the page. I use a program called Figma to do this, but if you don't know what that is, you don't need to use that. You could just use a pencil and paper at this step to just draw things out messily. It's more so just to kind of like put your ideas on the paper. I usually just do wireframes when I feel like there's like a lot of information that I want to put on a web page and I need to kind of like work out where it's gonna go. After I get all the wireframes done, I'll start applying the branding choices we made earlier to the wireframes to turn them into something more visual. And I don't always do this step, and if you're just doing your own website for your business or doing something basic, maybe you don't really have to do this step. But in this case, I still didn't feel entirely sure about how I wanted the homepage to look. So I like to be able to play around with the design in Figma before I take it into Squarespace, just because Figma is a little easier to kind of like zoom out and quickly make changes and iterate and duplicate things, whereas you can't really do all of that kind of stuff in Squarespace, right? So I like to play around with it in Figma before I take it into Squarespace. After I have an idea of the structure of the website and what it's going to look like, I'll finally open up Squarespace and start building out the actual website. To apply the colors and the fonts, you can use the site styles over here on the right. Squarespace only lets you choose 5 colors to add to your color palette. So if I have more than 5 colors that I chose in my branding, then I just choose the 5 that I think I'll be using the most, and I'll put those over here in site styles. And then if we have other colors in our brand that we want to use, we can apply them individually to certain elements here and there. And then I'll just build out the website, starting with the homepage. As you see, a lot of my time is spent designing and planning the website before I even get to Squarespace. But for this website specifically, I had a lot of custom code to figure out too, which also took up a good chunk of time. So it was kind of like 50-50 for this project. It took like half my time designing and planning out the website, and then like half of the time building it out and writing the custom code and all of that. So for example, I really wanted to do this type of menu in the header, which Squarespace only lets you have this hamburger menu in the mobile version. But I like the idea of having it in the desktop too. I feel like it makes the header look so much cleaner. Having it all in like a side panel like this that you could just hide away is more user-friendly, I feel like, than having a really cluttered header. All of this required a lot of custom code, and there were other areas of the website too where I had to use some custom code to make things work that Squarespace doesn't allow out of the box. Like this gallery where I have like these like flip boxes. One other thing I wanted to point out that's unique about this website is these wavy dividers. Squarespace has some built-in wavy dividers that you can use. You can change some of the settings here, but you're limited on what you can do, and it will always have this kind of like consistent, clean look to them. I wanted the wavy dividers to be much more random, and I wanted them all to look different. Some of them I wanted to be kind of like angled to add to the organic, playful look that I'm going for. So I actually made these dividers using a combination of this website called Hi-K. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And then also I kind of modified them in Illustrator a little bit, and I exported them as SVG files. SVGs are vector graphics that, unlike other image files, can be stretched without getting blurry, which is perfect for dividers like this that should stretch to be the width of the web browser. Unfortunately, Squarespace doesn't let us upload SVG image files at the time of recording, but this could change in the future. But I found a workaround for this. You can actually open up an SVG in a text editor and see that they are comprised of HTML code. So we can copy all of this and make use of the code block in Squarespace to paste the SVG code directly onto our website without even having to upload the file. Combining those code blocks with shape blocks, which with like these rectangular shape blocks, is how I got it to work. And also this allowed me to have elements overlap the dividers because it's all in the same section, whereas normally you wouldn't be able to have overlapping elements on top of the dividers in Squarespace because those dividers are in between sections, right? And you can't put elements in between sections. In the end, this is what the website ended up looking like. I love this website. I think it's one of my favorite websites that I've worked on so far. I just feel like it's so fun and colorful and whimsy. If you are trying to make a website for your business and you're having trouble getting it to look the way you want it to, and you're ready to invest in a professional web designer, feel free to contact me using the link in the video description below. If you find the cost of hiring a professional web designer is out of your budget at the moment, but you still want this kind of custom look designed by a professional with custom code and everything, I am working on my own Squarespace template shop where I'll have websites like this one one available for sale. Well, maybe not as complex as this one, but close. And you'll be able to buy it as a template that you can customize yourself to fit your business and your brand. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up to hear when I launch the shop using the link in the description below. Or if this is in the future and the shop is already launched, then I'll update the description below to have the actual link to the shop. Let me know what you thought about this website. I would love to hear your feedback. I loved chatting with you guys in the comments. So definitely get down there and tell me what you think. Tell me what's on your mind. If you have any questions, share those down there too. If I can't answer them in the comments, then maybe I'll answer them in a future video. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.